Let's run it. All right, welcome back to Stick Talk. This is episode 3 with our good friend, our business partner, also technically a wizard, Daniel Fazio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. I do, in fact, identify as a wizard, and we're we're going to be talking about making some fucking money today, so pay attention.
Let's go. All right, so how I wanted to start this off is yesterday I had someone comment on a video I posted on YouTube where I talked a little bit about how Client Ascension got started and how we met. So I want to go into that story from your perspective for the audience. Who are you, and how do we get to working together?
Yeah, so in May 2020, I made a Twitter account called Cold Email Wizard. Turns out I'm one of the best info product sellers on earth. Made a lot of money with it, and I ended up making this one product called All Access Pass, and it was kind of like a private group of people who were actually running a business and using cold email to grow such business. And Andre was one of the people who came into it. And I remember he did this thing where he had created a Trello board of basically systems and processes and software and everything you need to do to manage cold email campaigns. And it was really valuable. And we kind of just started talking from there. And then as Andre was obviously on Twitter and I see the growth of his business, we became better and better friends. Obviously, eventually get introduced to Dan and Christian. And then we started talking a lot. And what eventually happened was we decided to put our forces together and create Client Ascension, which is now way past a 7-figure business. And I'm pretty confident it's going to be an 8-figure business within a pretty short period of time. So now here we are. So thank you guys for helping me out with that.
Yeah, no problem, bro. No problem. Happy to do it. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a crazy journey since we first met up in Tampa like a year ago. And so one of the questions that I think would be good for the audience to hear more about is like, how do you transition from selling info products to going into high ticket? And how do you view both of those different business models if someone is just getting started?
Yeah. So you never want to sit there and just like sell a course, because then you're for too long, because people are going to sit here and then you're going to be labeled as just the guy who sells courses and that's the entirety of your business. And such would have also been the nature for me had I not made software companies, right? So it's like you had to do a bunch of different things with cold email, use a bunch of different software. So I sat here and just replicated every single software app. And then that was when I was kind of not labeled as just a course seller. So it's like you do want to expand, and you can do that with a high ticket offer as well. But in general, if you're sitting here, if you do have a course or if you have an agency and you've accomplished some specific task using some specific mechanism, you can translate that into a coaching program because you have accomplished something. And the offer looks pretty simple. It's like, we're going to show you how to do this using this. And that's it. You sell in a different format, fulfillment format for what you've already been doing. So it's like if you're sitting here and you're really good at Facebook ads and you've scaled a bunch of companies either in an agency or you own the company with Facebook ads, you can pretty easily make hey, we're going to show you how to scale your company with Facebook ads. Like, pretty simple.
Talk about that real quick, because I feel like a lot of people jump from starting out to selling a course without getting enough experience in between to be qualified to sell a course or run a coaching program. So talk about getting experience with the skill before you try to monetize it with info products.
Yeah, well, what's going to happen is say you take like you start an agency, and maybe you get the agency to like $5K, $10K a month, and yeah, I mean it's ethical to sit here and you can make a coaching program or course. I'm going to show you how to make $5K a month or $10K a month in an agency. And like, yeah, you can do that. But if you don't take something to $50K or $100K, then you can't ever morph into teaching people how to do that. I was talking with David Mendez about this yesterday, and I was explaining to him, because he's doing a really good job with his agency right now. Like he launches high ticket coaching programs, and he's working with Brooke. And I told him, I was like, yo, stick with Brooke and try to just get his thing to $500K a month or $1 million a month. And it might take you a year or 2 years, but at the end of it, you're going to be the person capable of creating a $500K a month business or a $1 million a year business. So this is why you don't want to hop too much, because you go through ceilings where it's like you have to fundamentally change how you operate and what you know and how you execute things to break past the ceiling. And if you just churn and burn business models, you always get it up to that one ceiling that you're never going to break past. So you need to stick with one particular thing for a long time so you can go past a large array of ceilings. And then you take one business to $1 million a month. You can take basically any business. Obviously, it has to be a good offer also to $1 million a month, right? And then if you get it to 10 million a month, you can do that. It's like, look at Alex Hormozy. Like, he literally sits here and just acquires info product businesses because he took an info product business to like 50 mil a year. So he's pretty confident in his ability to take any other info product business and also get it to 50 million a year. And that's what you have to do, is you really got to stick with something for a long time. So you just become the person capable of doing that. And that is the whole point, right? Is to actually be good. And that takes a really long time.
Yeah, I think the Hormozy example makes a ton of sense because, like you said, he scaled SaaS and info products to multi-7 and 8 figure revenues, and now he literally just invests in other companies to help take them to the same place, using the same frameworks, using the same roadmap that he used within his own business. So I guess for you, like, you've been in entrepreneurship and business, what now, for like the past 3 or 4 years?
2018, 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about like when you first started and the skill sets you built that allow you to do what you do today with Client Ascension and with your personal brand. I think that's a big force multiplier that we'll get into.
So I feel like when you're a beginner, in regards to like copywriting or just selling things online, I feel as if in the beginning you have this kind of veil where it's like, I remember watching, like, trying drop shipping like a couple of times, and I'd go watch and like, oh, Facebook ad tutorial, I'm going to show you how to like make good Facebook ads. And they'll say some things like, yeah, so in general, like advertising, you want to like make a claim what your product is going to help them with. Like, for instance, 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this tooth powder, but it's like, that's not really, like, it doesn't even, and then I sit here and I'm like, oh, yeah, and just making, like, stupid, like, non-high impact claims like that, continuously trying to sell other things. And then one day you kind of sit here and just, like, all right, I feel like this is all dumb. I'm just going to do this one kind of out there thing. And I can't even describe it, where it's like you just screw everything everyone else is saying. I'm just going to try this, and, like, bam, it works. And you're like, oh, this whole time advertising and cold emails and just like speaking to people online to try to get them to your stuff, it was never an input-output mechanism. It was never, oh, just like write this in your ad and send it to more people and bam, you make something. It literally doesn't work like that. It's like you're speaking to individual humans. So I feel like that was the first thing. Probably took me about 1.5 years to break past that veil, I guess you could say. But, oh, no, I'm speaking to actual humans here. And the other thing is testing, because you find really weird things. And I'll give you, for instance, my first agency was an Instagram growth agency. And I'd sit here and I'd look at, there were competitors, obviously. I literally copied the business model from these 2 dudes I found online. And their claims were, like, their value proposition is, oh, we'll help you get more followers. And then I sat here and I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to make the claim, I'm going to help you make more money on Instagram. And then I'm sitting here and I'm using that claim, and it's like, I mean, the business, it's not really like growing too much. And then I just switch it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to help you get more followers immediately, like more sales. And I'm like, that's so dumb. It's like these people this whole time, my niche was fitness coaches. That's what I did, and kind of like influencer-esque type people with like, they weren't actually selling anything. But so they were just interested in followers. They literally didn't care about making money on Instagram at all. And I was like, wow, that's so weird. I made this assumption that was totally incorrect. So you can't really sit here and make assumptions. And I feel like a lot of people do this when they're trying to come up with some like business model. Like they hear learn a high income skill, and then they like learn a couple things. They learn how to like use Zapier, a little bit of copywriting, a little bit of sales, and they try to like take these skills and like spawn some offer with some value proposition that has no evidence that it even actually works. So what you need to find the precise language, like the exact syntax that your prospects are using. And now we sat here a couple of days ago, like literally in the client Ascension sales team chat, like one of our setters just showing us text message conversations, and there's people saying, yeah, like I've been like I've wasted so much money on Facebook ads, or I don't want to have to rely on an outside agency to get clients. So I took that exact syntax and put it on our landing page. And I did a split test on ClickFunnels, and immediately, instantly, just more opt-ins, way more sales calls. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. And then starting to actually be cognizant of who is interested in sending cold emails. We were originally just sitting here with a target market of marketing agencies. Like, oh, if you're a marketing agency, we'll show you how to get clients with cold email. But it's not just marketing agencies. It's B2B companies. It's consultants. It's freelancers. It's anybody with literally any kind of offer that can be sold to another business, right? And if you really have to sit here and pay attention, because we could have sat here just making the claim like, oh, if you're a marketing agency, we'll help you scale to $30K a month, and we literally never would have got to $500K a month. Like it wouldn't have happened. It's not the correct claim of the person who is otherwise interested in it. So you might think you know what you're doing, but you really actually don't. And you have to sit here and speak to people and find out the precise language, like exactly what they're saying. I think that's super, super important.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of your biggest strengths that I've noticed just in working with you. Like, you're constantly fucking analyzing things and making adjustments and testing. But I think it's also worth mentioning that, like, there's no shortcuts to doing it. You actually have to put money behind it. You have to get in front of people. That's why cold email is so brilliant, because it's a very cost-effective way to just get your offer out in front of people. So I guess my question is, like, for a beginner, what's like the best starting mechanism? Is it like cold email? Is it paid media? Like, where do you start with a new offer and just start that feedback loop? Because you can't make smart changes and find that correct syntax without getting the feedback. So like, what would you recommend if somebody's like, okay, I have this offer, I don't know what to do with it, but like I want to get feedback and make the right changes?
Yeah, so I think what happens is what people do is they learn some kind of mechanism. And what I mean by mechanism is some kind of, you have like traffic. Like making sales is traffic times conversion rate equals sales. Like that's literally what it is. So if you have a better offer, your conversion rate will go higher, and then optimizing copywriting and just kind of like your funnel and like using exact wording, that'll increase your conversion rate. And then there's traffic, and there's different traffic mechanisms. And that could be cold email, Google ads, Facebook ads, content marketing, subcategories, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all these kinds of things, right? So cold email is like a traffic mechanism. And what I feel like people do is they learn a mechanism, and then they immediately default to just selling the mechanism, as opposed to learning and understanding mechanisms, like one by one, just acquiring these skills, and then kind of being in a community and seeing what people who are also involved in that mechanism are saying, or specific problems they're saying, right? Everyone always defaults like, oh, I'm going to learn cold email. Bam, starts a cold email agency. Or like, oh, I'm going to learn Facebook ads. Bam, tries to sell Facebook ads as a service. And it's like, you can't just, this is what people say, oh, just learn a high-income skill and sell that high-income skill. It's like, you can't just like learn one thing and make money. You actually have to know pretty much everything. So you got to go one by one. You got to know how to make a website. You got to know how to do some copywriting. You got to know how to film a VSL. You got to know how to do some content marketing. You got to know how to do a sales call. You got to know how to construct an offer. You got to know how to onboard people. You got to know how to get the results for the client. You got to know how to hire people when that starts scaling. And this is all such a very, very long process, and it's what I like to refer to as an indoctrination period. And typically what you'll find with somebody is they have an indoctrination period of around like 1 to 2 years. Mine was probably about like 18 months until I kind of lifted the veil and I understood like, okay, I know how to do this now. And then I'm still getting better, right? I'm still becoming the person capable of making $1 million a month. but it's going to take you a really, really long time to learn how to make 10K or 20K a month.
How can you speed up that curve? Is there anything you can do?
You can, in fact, join Klein Ascension. We help you speed that curve up, yes. Yeah,
No, but
buy our shit.
I think it's such an important conversation because people come into like online business expecting to have like overnight success or learn one thing or get good at just one thing and expect to build a business around it. But I think there has to be like separation and focus of what's the skill set that you're going to build the business around. Because there's one thing to be said about learning a skill set like cold email or Facebook ads or copywriting, and then a whole nother topic of conversation around building and operating a business. Like you were saying, all the things that go into building and operating a business. And to become the person capable of doing that, I think you have to surround yourself with others that are doing that successfully. And then it's just trial and error of like making your first hire, closing your first sales call, running your first ad campaign. Like there's so many different things that go into it. And like you said, there's learning curves at each different point in the process. So I guess talk about like what you learned when you first started kind of selling info products to now running like a business like Klein Ascension that has a sales team, that has an operations team, that has coaches. Like what does that all look like?
Yeah, so I feel like it works in a series of rabbit holes where you go super deep on one thing at a time, just because like if you have a natural curiosity, if you actually want it, you're going to naturally sit here and do that. It's kind of like if you go to the gym a lot, you start to really want to go to the gym. It's like if you're learning a lot about business, you're like, oh, I got it. Like you're excited to get up and you're like, I have to figure this shit out. So the way in which I did it, well, the first business I did was kind of like flipping. I would buy stuff from China and sell it in person at school and on eBay. And then when I graduated college, I did Amazon FBA for a couple months, made a little bit of money. And then I started doing the Instagram agency. And the way you come across that was, I'll tell you the whole sequence of events of how this occurred. It's like I find a random YouTube video where it's like how to get a bunch of Instagram followers. I'm like, oh, it's pretty interesting. So I watch it, and it was this guy. It was using the software called Jarvee. This doesn't work anymore, so don't
Bro, I remember
think you could do this. Yeah,
I remember.
yeah.
that.
So it's this software called Jarvee, and you could
People try to do it right now.
yeah, it literally it doesn't work anymore. So sorry. It was using follow unfollow to get followers for people, and then I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then like I dive deeper, and I'm looking up more content about Jarvee and seeing this person. Oh, this person like runs a business where they help people get followers. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And now I'm sitting here, and it's like, well, they have a landing page. I'm like, how do you make a landing page? Like, I have no clue how to make a page and like integrate payments into the. Like, I don't even know how to do that. So I'm looking up like how to make websites and how to make landing pages. So first it was like websites versus landing pages. What are the differences? I was like, oh no, I probably want a landing page. I don't need like a full website. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking up landing page software, and I remember this one article. I just Google searched lead pages versus ClickFunnels because there's like a list of like the best funnel building softwares. And in retrospect, this article was probably an affiliate link to ClickFunnels, but it led me to a webinar with Russell Brunson. It was like free hour-long webinar. We're to show you how to do this. I didn't even know what a webinar was. I'm like, oh my god, wow, this is so crazy. It's all for free. So I go to the webinar, and he's not just explaining how easy it is to make a landing page with ClickFunnels. He's like explaining like the actual functions of driving sales using your landing page you create with ClickFunnels and then integrating the payments. And then they made this offer where it was like 6 courses plus 6 months of ClickFunnels for $1,000. I was like, bam, done, bought it. So I watched all of those courses, and it's all about like, it's basically all the stuff from Russell Brunson's books, like .com secrets, expert secrets. And I just went in. It was just that one series of events going through all that stuff. And then I bought his books. Like, so all of this is simultaneously going on where I'm like going through Russell Brunson stuff and just building the landing page for that service I was going to sell anyway. So you see the sequence of events. It's like a spider web of things. Everything starts to connect, right? And then put the landing page up, and I'm like DMing people on Instagram. And I'm like, well, they have an email button. I could probably just email them too, so I can hit both points. And my theory was like, I don't have like a business Instagram type account. It's like a personal account, so it's like it's not going to look good. But if I just email them, they'll be able to see the website. So I did that, and now I'm like YouTubing cold email stuff and Googling cold email stuff. And I was manually sending the cold emails. And then I found this software called it was a Google Chrome plugin or something like that, and they had like 7-day free trial. So I would make like one Gmail account every week, and I'm sending it from @gmail.com emails, and just using this automated thing, and I'm manually collecting the emails of the people I want to pitch from Instagram. So then I'm cold emailing and I'm like split testing the message. Like, what if I say this? What if I say this? What if I say this? And I'm like doing split tests in ClickFunnels too, and like following what he says in .com secrets and trying to figure out what works and just continuously continue it over and over and over and over again. Got that business to like, I think it was like $12K a month or something like that. And at this point, I'm 21 years old, and I just got out of college, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, that's a significant amount of money when you, like, just get out of college. And it was enough to leave my parents' house, which I did, right? It was great. That's when I moved to Tampa originally. So I did that, and then one day, algorithm changed, bam, business gone, done. And then I screwed around some other stuff. Like, I did some like eBay drop shipping while at the same time going to other marketing agencies and being like, hey, I grew this marketing agency like yours to 12K a month sending cold emails, and it got destroyed by an Instagram algorithm update, and I'd love to see if this can work for you too. And this is kind of like that, and now I'm doing cold emails for other people. But I dove so deep into the Russell Brunson stuff, so I'm sitting here with the context of like marketing, like a marketing angle, like a funnel. So like, how do I just like, yeah, cool, I can send cold emails, but how do I just like absolutely hyperdrive this? It's like, oh, well, you can do like a lead magnet, which upsells to a higher ticket offer, which is a service. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna do that. It's like, all right, now I need the traffic for that. I want something that's a little faster than cold email. I didn't even know you could just buy like 10 domains at this point.
Bro, if I'm watching this, I'm like checking YouTube to see if I put it on like 2x speed. It's like, but it's on 1x.
No, dude, that's the biggest thing that stands out is just like you're just like the fucking Energizer Bunny. Where you're talking about like trying 15 different business models within the course of like 3 years.
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
is such a short period
Yeah,
of time.
yeah, well, it's
and that's,
speed.
Dude, that's the thing. So many people will be like, oh, I have this idea for an influencer marketing agency and like spend 2 years planning and not do anything.
You're just buy some fucking domains and send to me, but it's not hard. Like, spin up a landing page in like a day, film a video in a day, buy some domains in a day, go find leads for a day. Like, day 6, you're sending cold emails. Congrats. You probably have a client in like max 3 weeks. Like, stop being a dumbass. Like, it's so simple.
I think the one thing that's missing here is we're talking about external factors, you know, domains, landing pages, all this stuff. But what I want to talk about is, I think what separates you is your unwavering confidence in yourself. Like, you just, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've always kind of known that you were just going to become top G.
Ordained by God.
No, but like, talk about when you were first starting out, because I feel like the biggest roadblock for a lot of people, is they just don't think they can achieve it. And while when your agency got shut down, you were trying a bunch of random stuff. Like, did you always know that you were going to become as successful as you are right now? Like, talk to me about your internal confidence. Did you ever have a point where you're like, this isn't going to work out? Just talk me through the mindset that you had.
I feel like everybody kind of has a motivating factor that really drives them, and it might be some kind of emotion. And my emotion in regards to where it's like, I'm going to make this work, was just anger, or it's like,
Yo, who broke your heart, bro?
It's like sitting here and I'm like, when I was like way long ago, when I'm like first starting coming up, I was just so angry that people had all this money and it like seemed so easy to. I remember being, because I was like on Twitter just not posting since like 2017. So I'm seeing these people like, yeah, but 30K a month, 40K a month, 50K a month. And I'm just like, why is this so easy for you? And I'm just angry, and I'm sitting here, and it was just like, you graduate college. I graduated college a year early, and I told my parents, I was like, I graduated a year early. I want to try to see if I can start a business before I get a job. They said, all right, we'll give you a year to try to make some money, but if you can't make that work, then you got to go get a job. So I'm like, all right, speed, like fast. Like, I didn't have time to fuck around. Where it's like I I had 12 months to do it. And I mean, it ended up actually working relatively well within like 4. So I was like, all right, cool, very nice. But
Very nice.
Is that your exact reaction?
Very
You're
nice.
like, oh, very nice.
Like,
That's
I
funny.
like
That's
it.
like the same exact justification that I gave my mom. Because like by the time I graduated, I think this was like spring 2021, right? She was like, you should get a job. Like, you guys aren't paying yourselves from the business. You're not making any money. You're a smart kid. You can go get a job. I was like, well, I graduated in 3 years, so I should be in college still. And she was like, okay, bet. You have a year. So it was like very, very similar situation where you just have to, if like somebody doesn't set it for you, you have to set deadlines for yourself and just fucking get in the mix. Like, you
Yeah,
have to-
I think this is there's a problem with a lot of people online because they'll see like, oh, how did this person makes this much money, and like you've been fucking psyoped into thinking that it's like everything online is a scam where it's like, oh yeah, look at these 4 guys sitting here, it's bullshit. It's like, bro, we make over $250,000 a month. Like, we actually do that, and I'll send you the Stripe screenshots. I've literally posted them on Twitter. Like, it is real. I'm 25. 23, you guys are
22, bro.
yeah, you're 22. It's like
23.
It's not like people literally sit here and do this. This is not some kind of gated community. You just have to sit here and stop being a fucking pussy about it, and like, and like actually just do the work. Where it's like, are you gonna be angry about it? Because if you simply just like the idea of making money, you're not really gonna move with any kind of urgency. Where it's like things move fast. It's like you need to move really, really fast and acquire things so fast. And I was actually sitting on my balcony last night.
An American spirit.
Yeah, mayhaps. I was sitting on my balcony last night thinking about this, and I'm thinking about like, because that split test I was just talking about before, and just like changing what is said on the landing page for client Ascension, like literally just like increasing the velocity of opt-ins and growth by 40%, like a single change. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm so stupid for having not just like really tried this so much harder. It's been a year that we've had Client Ascension open. It's like, how did I not figure this out so sooner? It's like, I need to stop fucking around so much, where it's like 12 months it took me to figure this out. It's like, I need to go faster. It's like, there's people literally sitting here making 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil a month. And I'm sitting here like, bro, I have to move. Like, this is like, I'm being dumb. So it's like, if you're sitting here at like $0 a month, it's literally pretty simple. Like, go through that indoctrination period I was just talking about. Rewind this, like, go sell, like, have an offer. You need to sell something.
Our business goes like this for a little bit when Daniel's like kind of angry, but not that mad. And then it goes like this when he gets really, really fucking mad. And then it goes like this. And it's just like, whenever Daniel's in super anger mode is when it just goes
it's
crazy.
just, this is what happens because you hit ceilings. And like if I hang around a ceiling too long, I start to get angry. Where I'm like, no, I don't. Like I'm really pissed off that I can't get past this, and I like lock myself in a hole, and I just like I have like a bunch of note cards and like Sharpie pens, and I sit here and just like pace around my house, just like looking down, like my phone's on Do Not Disturb, and it's like in a different room, and I'm just writing things down. I'm like, we're gonna do this. It's been happening for the past like 2 weeks, and I know you guys have noticed.
Yeah.
it.
No, what you text us, you're like, we need to be working more. We're like, yeah, we do. But what I want to ask is, I don't know, can someone manufacture this level of intensity that you have? Like, can someone just sit down and be like, or does it have to be something that is just natural to them? Because I feel like you have a level of intensity with business and success that I've never really seen before.
No, because I mean, you look at Andre over here. Took an agency to 100K a month. He's not angry.
Pretty happy guy.
Like,
He's
he's
hosting Bible studies on Friday. This man is zen.
yeah, we do.
He's a sweetheart. But
The thumbnail's going to be Danny with like a devil and Andre with like the angel.
Literally, yeah. I mean, I'm not. I think when I say like anger, it's like I don't walk around like the entirety of my life and like fucking angry. Like I'm a happy dude. I love what I have. It's just like I'm just operating with urgency, or because it's like if you really think about it, what else are you gonna do? I think. When I was younger, I loved to play RuneScape. I literally love RuneScape so much. And the concept of RuneScape, if anybody isn't familiar, is you level up skills, and then as you get higher and higher skills, you can fight stronger and stronger monsters that drop bigger and bigger drops, and you make more and more money, which gets you better gear, which lets you level up more. It's just this cycle. I'm playing RuneScape right now with my actual life. and just leveling up skills, which gets you better gear and better opportunities, which lets you level up more and make more money, which gets you better gear, right? It's just this upward tornado of things that occur, and it's like I'm just trying to I'm just skilling more than an average person would. Like I'm just training more in the realm of business.
I think it's like this really helped me, and I've seen it also help a lot of young entrepreneurs. Is like when you think of business just like a video game, it becomes like fun because then you get to set goals, you get to set milestones. Like you said, you get to like level up. And I've talked about this a lot on recent podcasts, and I've seen others talk about it a lot as well. It's like going back to your childhood and kind of like recalling what you gravitated towards when you were younger. Like for me, this will probably be like the 5th clip about Legos on my social media page, but I grew up building Legos, and like I loved flipping through the manual and putting all the pieces together and seeing like the end product from when it first started with just all the pieces like laid out. Same with like puzzles. Like I loved putting shit together and building things, and that's the same way I look at business. Like I'm not gonna sit in my apartment and build Legos all day today because I wouldn't be sitting in an apartment. I'd probably be homeless. So I do it with a business. And I think if you could kind of gear your mindset to that, is like look at business like a video game, which I know most guys growing up loved video games. And it just goes back to like men in general. Like we love like setting goals and like achieving. And like you said, I always think about it. It's like a lot of this stuff is just done out of pure boredom.
Yeah.
Like what else are you gonna do?
There's nothing else to do. It's like you sit here, you really sit down, and if you actually look at what life is, what else is there to do but work? Like,
Can we get a check on that?
like
Merriam-Webster.
all you want to do is get dopamine, or it's like you want to sit here and you want to watch TikTok all day. You want to eat food all day or something, where it's like it's just gluttony, or it's like you just get to sit there and do that your whole life. It's like there's no variety. It's like sometimes I'm sitting there like really lazy, and it's like
It feels shitty.
It was
This
like, what
happens to
else
me
is there to
on
do?
the
This happens to me
Cindy?
every 3 weeks, where I'm like just like lazy Saturday, probably hungover, eating some greasy food, like scrolling through Instagram or something. Just like I'm a scumbag. Like what am I doing right
it's
now?
like, what
It's-
are you
it is
doing?
actually gluttony. It's weird because like
It's literally a sin.
if you think of
Like,
it,
actually
yeah,
is.
like if you think of it in like biblical terms, you're like, oh, like you're eating so much and you're like acquiring more than you should have and you're being greedy. But like that's kind of like the modern day version of gluttony. It's like you're just constantly consuming digitally and just like not doing anything. Like what? I feel like not enough people like reevaluate just like how much they're actually consuming without putting anything out there.
This is a great topic of conversation that I think you've put into really good terms, like just based on your social media posts recently. But there's like this thing where like growing up in high school, like people are maybe shying away from posting on social media because they're scared what their friends are going to think, right? Like imagine, like remember in social, like in high school, like you'd post something on social media and you'd be scared of like, what are your friends going to think? And so what you guys are talking about right now is like being a consumer. And I think one of the transitions you have to make to have success in business and entrepreneurship is transitioning from being a consumer to being a creator. And I think one of the mental blocks in doing so is like that old set of beliefs that your friends are going to make fun of you or judge you. So talk about how you're able to overcome that. Or how other people can.
Yeah. So delete your social media profiles that you have all your high school friends on that you're scared to post on due to judgment, and start from zero and exert content out into the world. There's no reason to use social media unless you're making money from it. At all. Actually, there's no reason for you to sit here on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok all day consuming content. You are receiving precisely nothing from it. A very good operating framework to work on is you are allowed to consume content in direct proportion to the amount that you produce, right? So if you spend 4 hours a day doing YouTube videos or editing YouTube videos or posting tweets or posting LinkedIn or posting stories or like doing sales in the DMs or like trying to find prospects and sending cold emails, like exerting things out into the world. You do that 5 hours per day, you're allowed to consume content on YouTube for 5 hours a day. You're allowed to watch TikTok for 5 hours. One-to-one relationship.
I think the one thing that you're missing from that is if you're consuming content, you can do it in a way that shows you how to produce better content. Like instead of just scrolling TikTok mindlessly, or watching a YouTube video mindlessly, watch the content and then figure out what's going viral and how you can reverse engineer that to your own stuff, right? Like if you watch a YouTube video about cold emailing and it's got 100,000 views and the guy's got 1 million subscribers, sit down and say, hey, what's so good about this thumbnail? What's so good about this title? What's the content like? How does he deliver his words on the video? And then figure out how you can turn that into your own content. Like I think all of the TikTok agencies out there like to say the best TikTok agencies are the ones that live on TikTok because they're on TikTok trying to find the trends and seeing how to go viral, right?
There's this, when you sit down and learn things and you are putting new information into your brain, there's this feeling of uncomfortability, almost as if you were working out. You're literally burning calories, like trying to aggregate information and process it inside of your head. So it is as if you're working out. And a lot of people, this is why a lot of people don't like school, because it's kind of like working out. And it sucks if it's something you don't like or are interested in. But it's just like I was saying earlier with the gym, where it's like you go to the gym for 7, 8, 9 days in a row, where it's like you didn't want to go to the gym. You start to really feel as if I have to go to the gym. I'm going to feel like garbage if I don't. And it's the same concept with learning things. If you really sit there and force the information into your head for 7, 8, 9 days in a row, just an hour a day, you're going to feel as if you spend a day not doing that, it's like, oh, I feel like a bum today. I should probably go watch something. It's the same thing as working out. You're training your mind.
Yeah. The one thing I want to say is you said to start a new social channel so your friends don't judge you. I feel like we're transitioning into a point where a lot of people are aware of the fact that online business is possible. And it's not so much like they're going to pick on you. They're going to look at your content and be like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. How can I do it? Like what's your take on that?
Like, start a new one if you have to, if you absolutely can't get over that barrier. But my advice, honestly, would just be, dude, just stop caring what they think.
If we're thinking algorithmically, it's probably better to start a new account because you built up a personal account with all of your friends. You have the wrong people following you, and it's going to be really hard to transition from a personal account to a business account.
No. What I'm saying is you start a new social account so that the followers are entirely comprised of your TAM, your total addressable market, your actual market. So you start posting business stuff and it's a bunch of your high school friends. It's going to get algorithmically pushed to people who are like that. It's like what I'm saying is you don't do that. You start it from zero and acquire people that are within that realm only. So you're pushed to more people like that. You can't mix those two. It has to just be business. I'm thinking it from a logistical standpoint.
That's actually a very, very valid point. I didn't think about it because my previous Twitter account with all like my high school buddies and like, you know, people from college and whatnot got banned just because I joined Twitter when I was like 12.
Yeah. Far right extremism here.
I
used the
joined
same
Twitter when I was
that I've always
12.
had, though.
Yeah, they asked me to update my birthday. I fell for the trap. But no, it actually worked out. So I guess you're correct.
I started my Twitter
from.
I just built onto the Twitter I already had. I don't know. I think it's worked out all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
But
it's not going to kill you, but what I'm just saying is it's just easier to go from zero.
Yeah.
I mean, Cold Email Wizard from zero, it was making legit $50K a month in like 5 months.
So one thing I've noticed you did and a couple other people have done recently, when they have like a brand like Cold Email Wizard, I've noticed people, and I think Rogue Wealth did this as well, like a couple days ago, starting Daniel Fazio or like starting like the personal, like, hey, this is my name. What's the catalyst behind that?
Yeah, so I started a YouTube channel under my real name, Daniel Fazio, and if somebody finds me on YouTube first and hears me talking about Twitter, they're going to search on Twitter Daniel Fazio. And if I didn't have a Daniel Fazio profile, they would have never found Cold Email Wizard. So they find the Daniel Fazio profile, which has Cold Email Wizard tagged in it, and now they understand that, okay, that's also him. That's why I did it.
Yeah. Going back to what Christian said, I think it's a super important like topic of conversation is to get really good at something, you have to study game film, right? Like when you're scrolling through YouTube or TikTok with the thought process of figuring out what's working or what's relevant to the marketplace right now, like the way I look at that is studying game film. And just recently, and this is getting into like really specific tactics to grow on social media and to get your content to actually convert and make it worthwhile to put all this time and money into putting out content into the world. So talk a little bit about how you recently on I think like your most recent YouTube video, you studied game film with search terms and with different tools, if you don't mind mentioning those as well, and how you use that to put together like an intro that really speaks to what people are searching for or want to hear.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the master plan. And first, I'm going to talk about YouTube in particular. So first off is that I'm operating YouTube under the theory that I'm trying to rank for specific search terms. So I get a software that analyzes search terms called vidIQ, and that allows me to see search volume, what people are searching for, and then you can also go into your YouTube analytics. What are your subscribers and viewers also searching for? And again, this goes back to I get precise syntax of exactly what people are searching. So if I make content that is titled exactly what they are searching for, it will probably rank for those terms. And obviously there's other SEO stuff. And I want to do a big shout out to this guy, Chase Curtis, on Twitter. He was on a Twitter space with me the other day, and he was dropping game about YouTube. And I'm going to tell you what he said right now. Basically, in your descriptions of your videos, you transcribe what was said in the video and paste all of it into the description. And the reason why is because there's so many more phrases and words that can
SEO,
that can be indexed. And I did that the next day I went and did that, and on 2 videos, and the passive views of those videos went up like 30%. Like per hour, like the passive views. And I was like, wow, that actually works, and it's ranking for more stuff. So that was a nice little optimization. Another thing is you all you're trying to do is optimize click-through rate and optimize the completed time. Like what % of people complete the video or replay the video and go back to it, save it. Like you want to make things that people share. Like that last video I put out where it's like no BS guide to making money online. Like that's shareable. People were organically posting that on Twitter. Like, yo, you guys have to watch this. And for a while, I'm posting like hella shorts too. Another optimization for shorts is the title. Like it didn't really make sense to me why that would be, where it's like you kind of make like an optimized title. What's very interesting is what titles that work on YouTube, titles that work for email lists, titles that work for Twitter threads, it's all the same. It's all the same thing. So it's like I'll go into vidIQ and do like the AI title recommender. I paste something in, it gives a bunch of recommendations. I use that for our email list. I use that for Twitter threads. I use that for shorts. I use that for full YouTube videos, like just to try to get people to click the thing, just to increase the click-through rate. And then I'm still experimenting and trying to learn how to get people to watch the entirety of things. But like, for instance, just with this podcast, I was telling Andre, I was like, here's the plan. You do really long podcasts, like really, really long. Like it could be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, because the kind of person who's going to watch that might be at the gym and they just leave it on, or they're on the treadmill or something, or they just have it on in the background and they're listening to the whole thing. They don't have to switch videos.
If you listen to a podcast in the gym, you're psycho.
I listen to podcasts.
I listen
You're
to
psycho.
podcasts,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah, so they do that. And then there's another category of people, whether they're not at the gym or they're not playing background stuff, and they're just sitting on their bed, and like their attention span is going to go between per video like 3 to 7 minutes. So what I was telling Andre is go find 3 to 7 minute clips from the podcast and post a ton of those. And then there's the people who are scrolling YouTube shorts. Okay, go get YouTube shorts from the podcast and post all of those. So you're hitting every single avenue. And what you're trying to do is just get people invested into watching your content. You are just acquiring people who regularly watch your stuff. And now this gives you traffic. You own the traffic. It's very cheap or free to get their attention. And then you can put a sales pitch in front of them. Join Client Ascension.
And the cool part about that is once people are familiar with you and trust you, the sale is so much easier. Mm-hmm. Like you don't need to convince them on why the program is good for them. They're like they have their credit card on the call, ready to go. My one question on that is, what is a good balance of just posting for value and not pitching, and then pitching? Should you be putting an offer in front of them at every stop, or should you mix it up a little bit so you're not like overwhelming people?
I think you should have an offer on basically every single full-length video. I tweet 5 times a day. I'm posting Client Ascension as a plug under it for at least 3 of them. Like I'm every day. Like the more you post, the more traffic you get, the more sales you get. That's actually how it works. Like I'm putting an offer in probably like in front of 70% of my content, like around there.
One thing that's also important is like going back to watching game film and seeing what other people are talking about online. That's just part of it. But I think what you do really well is you kind of are like the devil's advocate, right? Like you talk about like why they're wrong essentially. And I think that's why your content goes viral. So like talk about that a little bit, like taking like a unique perspective on the marketplace, because you don't just go through videos and just copy exactly what Hormozy says or exactly what Iman Gadzhi says. Like you have your own take on things. So how do you like formulate, I guess, your own opinion and have the confidence to put that out into the world?
Yeah, I just don't really like people that try to hide their intentions. And like I'll give you an example. Like for instance, you see these this is the topic of that video I made, where it's like how to earn money online. And I start the video and I basically say, if you search on YouTube how to earn money online, you're going to get all these videos and they're going to tell you to do all of these dumb things. It's wrong. The way they're actually making their $100 a day or $300 a day is from their YouTube channel or affiliate links they're putting in there, right? So I'm calling it out, and I explain in that video where it's like people in the business niche are selling something, and I'm very clear that I'm selling something, and I'm not doing YouTube to make money off of the ad revenue or sponsorships. My sponsor on my channel is me. I'm trying to sell you something. That's the whole function of why I'm here. And I think people like that better if you tell them to their face, yes, that is the entire reason I am on YouTube, is because I want to sell you something. I'm not hiding that. I'm not saying, oh, I'm really trying to sit here and I really want to give back. It's like,
but that's your way of giving back,
yeah,
right? That's important to mention.
Yeah.
But you're trying to sell them so that you can further help them, not just so you can make money.
Because you won't buy my stuff if I don't help you in the first place, right? And that's why I'll make these very raw, like with exact, precise instruction videos on YouTube. It's like, do this, because a lot of people are gonna watch it. They're gonna do it. Hopefully they make some money. They will if they stick with it and do what I say, and then eventually they might buy our stuff. And this is how you operate a funnel at scale. Like a funnel isn't just like, oh, opt-in page, then VSL page. It's like, no, it's the actual relationship that somebody forms with you over time. Everybody has a conversion window. Somebody who's watching this video right now might convert to Client Ascension 2 years from now, but I plan on being in business 2 years from now. So that's cool. I'm investing into my future self.
Talk about the compound effect like you just mentioned. Like if someone makes content today, they might not reap the benefits for 6 months, but once you're in the content game for 6 months, a year, 2 years, the residual just keeps coming back, right? Like people that saw you day one start to buy. People that are just seeing you now are buying. Like what's the rollover effect of that?
Yeah, so I like to imagine 2 different compounding effects, and one is algorithmic and one is competence based. And I'll go over the algorithmic one first. And it's pretty simple math, where it's like, okay, you start posting some YouTube videos and you post 10 YouTube videos, you rack up 100 subscribers, and now for every new YouTube video you post, it's gonna push to your subscribers first, and it gives you even more of a boost, and then that gets you a couple more, and then the next video gets you a couple more, and then it spreads out until each incremental video is way orders of magnitude farther reach than the first ones, just because you got more algorithmic push just in the very beginning. Like it's just this upward whirlwind cycle. And the other kind of competence I like to think about is the competence one. And I'll explain what I mean by that, where it's like I sat here, take for instance what I was just talking about before, the Instagram agency. What I had to do before is I had to learn how to actually execute the service, like how to do the software for the follow. And then I had to learn how to make the landing page. And then I had to learn how to like get better results when I had the client. And then I had to learn how to leverage those clients to get more clients. And then other software stuff, and you had to learn how to use Stripe, and then maybe you start doing contracts, you're running an agency, you got to learn how to do sales calls, and like you have to learn so many things for the first time. But when you've learned something the first time, the effort to do it again is so tiny. And this is why when you spin up new things or you're given some new opportunity, you can do it way faster than you could a year ago because you don't have to go learn things for the first time. You already know how to make a landing page, how to make a VSL, how to do contracts, how to do a sale. You already know everything. So it's just fast.
Just last point for me, I think that's the coolest part of business. And everyone's like, what if your business fails tomorrow? It's like, I have a skill that I can leverage for the rest of my life. Like if you get, fired or laid off from a 9-to-5, you may have some skills that you learn there, but you have to go find a new job. But like once you learn a skill, it's self-sustaining for the rest of your life, unless, I don't know, the algorithm changes and you can't grow Instagram pages anymore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If we lost everything right now, it's pretty simple. We go to any sales organization on earth, any kind of internet marketing offer, literally probably any kind of B2B business, and simply tell them like, hey, I ran this business up to $250,000 a month, and I wanna work on yours. Bam, here's what I did. Here's the exact same thing. What's up, brother? And then it's pretty simple. Now you have an array of competence that you can leverage for literally anything forever.
It's a great, anyone want to hop in? I don't want to hog the mic.
You got a question coming up?
No.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. So I guess transitioning into, all right, we're talking a lot about like the funnel of getting people into an offer like Client Ascension, right? Posting content, trial and error, and all different sides of business, like marketing, sales, hiring, and building up yourself as like a competent business owner. Let's get into the actual structure behind Client Ascension and how that all works and like what your role in Client Ascension is. Like, because the vibe that like I'm hearing from like an outside perspective is you're doing your YouTube just so you can sell people. And that's not like the full story. The full story is you want to sell people so that you can actually help them and make an impact in their lives. So like, how are you doing that through your actual offer? Because I think people kind of like forget, like it's not just to sell, it's to sell so that you can actually help people and make an impact. So what does that look like?
Yeah, so if you're trying to sell something, you're going to make a claim where it's like, I'm going to sell you this, you're going to give me this, but I'm going to give you something more valuable than what you gave to me in the first place. So you have to sell asymmetric opportunities where it's like, typically it works like, I'm really good at this, I'll execute it for you in exchange for this amount of money, but my execution of this with what you already have is going to make you way more than what you paid me. That's literally how business works. That's exactly how Client Ascension also operates, because we sit here and it's like, okay, we sell someone Client Ascension, but the claim is that you're going to make way more, and it works, as evidenced if you go to clientascension.com, you opt in, you look at all of the screenshots of people making a lot of money. Like it works, right? So it's pretty simple. Someone comes in, they have a B2B company. They sell their service to another business. That means they're a marketing agency, they're a consultant, they're a freelancer, literally any kind of B2B service. We show them how to spin up outbound campaigns, cold emails, get the leads. We're going to write the scripts for you. We're going to give you the leads. We're going to give you the software, like fast, like way faster than any other person can do. And it just works. Like it just does. And that's the claim where it's like, what we're going to do is you'll pay us this much. We will execute this for you. Here's evidence that it works. Here's how fast it's going to work. And then bam, you do it and it does. And that's how you have to do business. You have to give somebody, you have to give them a result that is more
than what they invested.
Than what they invested. And this is what people don't understand, where it's like, I'll get people come in and they'll say, yeah, I want to sign clients, but I don't want to sit here and like do a guarantee because like, what if I don't hit the numbers? And it's like, you sell something, you charge someone like $5,000 and then like, you're like an ad agency. You're trying to do ads for them. They pay you $5,000. They spend $10,000 on ads. They make like $2,000 in sales. They just lost so much money. You literally don't deserve the $5,000 because you're not capable of delivering them an asymmetric offer. Like you can't even produce them the money. So it's very interesting. You have to have an offer that works, and that's the barometer for who we let inside Client Ascension. People might think like, oh, I want to hop on a call with Client Ascension there. And they're going to just try to sell me. It's like, no, what we're doing on the sales calls is trying to deduce what are you selling? And we're going to tell you, yes, this works, or no, this doesn't work. We tell people all the time, no, you got to change this. And we're going to leave you with like an actual consultative instruction to move forward. So I think you need to do this before you come over to Client Ascension. We're not going to hard sell you if we don't think it's going to work, right? I don't want you inside if it isn't going to work.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference between Client Ascension and everything you've done previously is just the team around you. Because everything sounds very simple from an outsider perspective right now. Like, hey, we're going to show you how to run lead gen at a super high level. We'll get you on sales calls. But what happens when you get on sales calls, right? A lot of people just fumble the bag right there. So we have a great sales coach. What happens when, okay, like now you're acquiring clients consistently through outbound, but you still want to grow. And you want to get like these whale clients, which are going to be easier to acquire through inbound. You're going to need content. You're going to be, you're going to need to go through that transformation and become like a knowledge expert in your space. And I think it's pretty simple, like the way that we've grown it. We just have very good coaches that have actually done the thing, right? Right? Like we have Dakota for Twitter. We have Connor for sales. We have, Dylan for cold calling. We have all these different people. I'm not even mentioning like 6 because it really is necessary if you want to break through, that not only like that 50K a month barrier, but that 100K a month barrier and keep going. So I guess talk about your experience with Client Ascension and like what it's like working with like a relatively bigger team now. Like, has that been an easy adjustment for you as opposed to like beforehand? It sounds like everything was just brute force, like you were doing everything yourself.
Yeah, it's really convenient because we sit here. We have a sales team of 5. We have 10 coaching calls. We have 10 coaches in Client Ascension. It's a huge company. Like there's a lot of people in there. Like it's massive. Everyone has their own precise job, and my precise job is getting the calls to book. That's it. That's what I do. And obviously, I sit here and I coach in Client Ascension too. But my job in the company is to get calls. Andre's job in the company is to make sure everybody's getting results. Like that's holistically what his job is. Dan's job is to make sure the calls that get booked close. Christian does a lot of the cold email stuff. He makes sure people are getting results. Everyone has a precise thing that they focus on, and it allows you to leverage your skills so hard and so deep that there's no choice but to scale. Like it has to grow if everybody is just getting better and better and better and better. I get better at driving more calls. Dan gets better at managing a sales team, closing more of them. Andre and Christian get better at making sure everybody gets results. And then I like to, like, in terms of my aspect of coaching inside Client Ascension, I like to hang around the guys who are like, I feel like I deliver the most value when they're at like 40K a month, where it's like, hey bro, I'm really trying to like scale this. I like to do it around that point where it's like someone comes in and because they come in and it's, yeah bro, I'm at 5K a month right now, like 10K a month. It's like, oh, well, this is pretty simple. You're gonna go to this call. We're gonna have your cold email scripts written for you. We're gonna get to these leads, and then you gotta learn how to reply and actually get the calls booked, and then close the calls, and then you're like eventually you're gonna hire someone, and it's so easy to take somebody from like 30, 40K a month to 80 to 100. But it's kind of all simple stuff to get from 5 to 30 that isn't like super exciting to me, but obviously you have to go through it, and that's kind of what you guys are in charge of. But it's like, all right, here's exactly what you're gonna do with the cold emails, and it's so simple. You really have to be an idiot to fuck it up. Like you actually do. When you get that degree of precise instruction, like we're writing the script for you. We're giving you the leads. We're telling you what to respond to all of them. We're reviewing your sales calls. We're telling you what to change. We'll help you build the SOPs and like tell you who to hire and where to find them. Like if you just do it, it works. Like it actually does. And that's what I like about it, because I love just going into the Wins channel and be like, just signed a 7K a month client. I'm like, let's go. It's a video game. It's so fun.
Yeah. And I think something that's important too is like you don't necessarily have to be like smart to be good in business. It's more so being consistent and committed. Like the people that get the best results in business and specifically within Client Ascension, and this speaks to us as well, is just the fact that we show up every single day committed to the end goal. And there's something to be said about consistency, because I think that's a lot more difficult than learning the skill set and knowing what to do. It's more so actually doing the work every single day. one topic of conversation that I kind of want to pivot to, because I've never heard this from you, and we've rarely ever had these conversations before, but I think it's important coming from like an outside perspective of like, it sounds like everything you touch turns to gold, which is like not common in entrepreneurship and business.
No, that's not true. I've had a bunch.
So I'm going there. I want to hear a little bit more about like your failures. Where have things gone wrong in
Yeah,
business?
so like, so like in beginning, like the Amazon FBA business, like I screwed that up. Where it's like I hit a big winner, very first product, about like $6,300 of inventory and made like $8K profit. This is like in the span of like 5 weeks. It was my first month out of college. So this is like that first month where my parents are like, yeah, you got to figure out how to make money. And I ripped it like so easy. I was like, wow, I'm so smart. And that's where I screwed up, because I went and bought a bunch of more products and I didn't do enough research, and I thought it was all just going to work out super dandy, but it didn't. And I, over the course of maybe like 6-7 months doing Amazon, I probably broke even or maybe lost a little bit of money entirely through that. So I just gave up on that, and that's when I started going into like Ty Lopez, social media marketing course, and Russell Brunson stuff. I had like a little bit of a Facebook lead gen offer at one point, but I just didn't really like it. Like it wasn't, because what I was working with like local businesses, and I couldn't like see scale, I guess you could say, or it's like I'm just trying to get you into this office. And more primarily, I just didn't understand like sales systems. Whereas like I was working with business who like didn't have a sales team in the first, and I thought like I was sitting here under the impression like, oh, I just like marketing, like I don't screw around with that like sales systems type stuff. And it was just like dumb. It's like you can't do that. You have to understand how everything works, because then it just unlocks so many more opportunities. But yeah, so I'll categorize that as a failure. The Instagram agency failed, although it wasn't due to me, but it was just a mistake on my part running something up that was black hat, whereas like obviously it was against the terms and conditions to do it. So it's like I shouldn't have put too much leverage on something that
like
wasn't allowed. Yeah, so it's like, and then I did this again with I bought a course on Twitter from Shaw, Shawpreneur on Twitter, and it was automated eBay dropshipping. What you would do is you would just deploy this software. It would scan Amazon. It would find if there are price disparities between items on Amazon and eBay. It would automatically list it for like a 20% profit margin. If somebody bought it, it would automatically order it from Amazon and ship it to them, mark it as shipped in eBay, upload the tracking information. It was dope. It was so dope. That is against the terms and conditions of eBay. And I think I got that to about, I ran that up pretty hard. That got to like $18K a month profit until I got the eBay account suspended. What I was trying to do is I was trying to make a ton. You had selling limits on eBay, so you can only list so many items. So I tried opening up more accounts, and what you have to do is you have to like make a VPS and then use a proxy to make sure it isn't linked to your IP address. But then you need like, it's KYC. You need personally identifying information. So you're trying to like make fake people or people you know. So it just didn't scale cleanly because it was against the rules. It just can't scale cleanly. And that's what I learned. So first it was Instagram that got destroyed because of that. And then it was that thing that got destroyed because of that. And I kind of just made a pact with myself. It's like, I'm not doing things that are against the rules anymore. I'm only doing things that are like really actually allowed and clean. And that's when
benefit the marketplace.
Yeah, benefit the marketplace. Yeah, because that's where all the rich people are. Like it's allowed. You're allowed to do it. There's a huge benefit. They drive huge results for people, and that is the point where I made Cold Email Wizard exactly after that eBay thing got destroyed. Exactly like 2 days after is when I made Cold Email Wizard.
The origin story.
Yeah.
Is that a good place to end it?
I guess, I mean, kind of like carrying the questions here. No one has questions for Daniel.
You guys don't like me?
Well, okay. I also
We
was thinking
love
about
you.
this, like, going through this episode, like we talk every fucking day, so like we've talked about it all. So to sit on a podcast and think of other things to talk about is not very easy. But where I want to leave it at, like with any good podcast, is like, okay, you've done everything we've talked to up to this point. Like if someone is following you, what can they expect to see over the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Like, have you thought it through that much, or are you still kind of just living in the day-to-day and seeing where things go?
Yeah, I'm gonna have I'm trying to run up like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm trying to make like legitimately $3 million a month. Like I want to be. I feel like I look at kind of like OG internet marketers. I think of people like Taylor Welch, Sam Ovens, Ty Lopez, kind of in a way.
Russell Brunson.
Yeah, Russell Brunson, like Cole Gordon, like these people who they're like legends. I want to be one of those where it's like you hear that name and you're like, do you know what that guy did? Like I'm trying to be one of those where it's like he ran this one thing up so far, and then maybe transition into things where it's like B2B, high ticket, SaaS, and like try to IPO something, because it's like something like that's what I would like to do one day, maybe in like 10 years from now, is like take a company and like legit IPO it and just try to like be a billionaire, because there's nothing else to do. Like they're literally I at this point it's like, yeah, cool, I want to make more money because I want to have all the things that money gives you, but it's like it's the game. Like I'm so addicted to just like back to the RuneScape analogy. It's like I want to have max stats. Like I'm so obsessed with it. There's nothing else to do in your life besides that. You hear all these stories of people like, oh yeah, the guy retired and then like died a year later. It's like, yeah, legit. Because there's nothing else to do. It's like it's literally a sin to sit around and do nothing. It's like I'm going to execute on what I believe is ordained to me by God. Like I legitimately feel like that. So I'm just going to try to do that and do everything I can to make sure that's realized in its full capacity.
Damn. Is that where we wrap it?
That was heavy.
Yeah, let me plug our shit. All right, if you're a B2B business, a marketing agency, a consultant, or a freelancer, we will show you how to get clients with cold email, and that's without spending a dime on ads or relying on an outside agency's monthly retainer to keep your business alive. If you like money, go to clientascension.com. The link is in the description.
Yeah, and also check the description for links to all of our YouTube channels, social media channels, and subscribe to this channel. This is episode 3 of a podcast that we're super excited about. So we have a lot of ambitious guests that we're going to have on, and so stick around, and appreciate you guys watching.
Peace.
That's a wrap.
Boom.